Hello, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another edition of Reverend Hagen's horrific cinematic dissection. As always, I'm your host, Reverend Hagen, and as always, I'd like to welcome our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's Scream. Radio.com for all your horror and paranormal needs. Tonight we're going to be reviewing 2015's The Atticus Institute, written and directed by Chris Sparling and starring Raya, I'm going to butcher her name, Kilstead, William Mapother, Sharon Mahan, Harry Groner, John Rubenstein, Julian Acosta, and Anne Betancourt. The Atticus Institute is about a parapsychology institute in the 70s, right? When scientists were actually looking at the paranormal phenomenon. They're struggling. They've had one case that they thought, this is it. This is going to be our big one to prove all our hard work. And it turns out that the guy's a fraud. So almost like a blessing, this woman shows up with incredible powers. Now, she's unique for a couple of reasons. One, she showed up on her own. They didn't have to go search this woman out. And two, she's possessed. When things starts to get out of hand quickly with this woman as they're testing her, one of the guys involved in the institute decides that we're in way over our head on this and calls a buddy of his in the government for help. It's kind of the beginning of the end for the institute. When the government shows up and sees what this woman can do, they take over. It's billed as the only case of possession that the government validated as real. And as soon as they get there, everything goes to hell. The demon within this woman looks at the government as a direct challenge to their authority. This is done in not necessarily a found footage kind of way, but there is a lot of kind of found footage in it. It's done as a documentary. You'll recognize some of the people that are actually in the found footage, and a lot of the stars that are reflecting on their time at the Institute, some of the doctors. I loved this movie. They did it very well and very realistically. And I know a lot of you guys are saying out there, guys and gals, Rev, do you only review movies that you enjoy? Quite frankly, yes. There's been a couple that I haven't dug. Excuse me, but I've reviewed anyway, and that's more to save you from the horror of a terrible, terrible horror movie. I'm really about the indie horror movies that are well done. You don't have to spend a gazillion dollars on a movie and make this blockbuster, because more than likely it's not going to make the theaters. Nowadays, going to the movies is kind of reserved for big blockbuster movies. And the only way you're going to be able to see these gems of horror movies is if you stream them, if you go to Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or one of these guys. Netflix is a really good area for some of these horror movies. But I'm digressing once again. I absolutely loved this movie, obviously. And even the bit players of this, even the guys, this is one of my favorite things about a good movie, that even the small details are really well done. So, of course, I'm going to give this movie 2 decomposing, dissected, and I know I switch those up all the time, thumbs way up. Love this movie. Please, please, please go out and see it. And you may have noticed, again, I am wearing my SCRMradio t-shirt. That's right. If you're a screamer out there, a screamer, aka a listener of SCRMradio, you can now get your own t-shirt. Woohoo! So I will leave a link for our Scream merch down below. I'd like to thank once again our listeners at SCRMradio.com. That's Scream. Radio.com for all your horror paranormal needs. And as always, my brothers and sisters, you keep those heads up.